Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Justin Rosette.
How's it going? I'm Francisco Molina.
Good to see you again. I'm Colin Costigan.
And I'm Segovia, and we're here to get the ball rolling to provide your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
The Men's Soccer World Cup announced its locations for the 2030 World Cup. The world-famous tournament will be held in Portugal, Morocco, Spain, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. That's right, the World Cup will be hosted in 3 continents. All 6 host nations will automatically get a bid to the 48-team tournament. This is the first time the tournament will be played in more than one continent. The bid had initially only included Portugal and Spain, but later added Morocco and later on the South American countries.
The World Cup is scheduled to be hosted from June to July of 2030. It is set to start in the South American countries, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. The majority of the tournament will be held in the core nations of Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. FIFA talks about the plans that involve a tremendous amount of travel from continent to continent, not to mention the difference in time zones.
10 years have passed since Simone Biles won her first medal at the World Championships. Simone gave herself one heck of an anniversary gift on Sunday, October 1st. During her return to international competition, the 4-time Olympic gold medalist for the United States gymnastics team made history by completing one of the most challenging vaults in the sport. This past Sunday, October 1st, at the World Artistic Gymnastics Championships hosted in Belgium, Simone Biles became the first woman to land the Yurchenko double pike vault at the competition. Biles stepped up to the vault, launched herself high into the air, twisting in an angular blue bird, and landed with a single backward step, making history. The 26-year-old landed the Yurchenko vault, which is considered the most challenging vault in women's gymnastics. At the end of her qualifying session, Simone Biles received a score of 58.86, making her the first woman to represent the United States at 6 artistic world championships.
Simone's first competition back in the world stage since 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. She has demonstrated the qualifiers. They have carried her to the pinnacle of the sports world. Simone Biles performs outstanding moves. This woman continues to amaze us on different levels. She knows when it's time to shine.
The Kansas City Chiefs survived a full game battle with the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium on Sunday. The Chiefs defeated the Jets with a 3-point difference in the Sunday night football game that drew many fans due to Taylor Swift's attendance. The primetime game aired on NBC for Sunday Night Football at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Jets hosted the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 2-time league MVP, started strong and overcame 2 interceptions near the end of the game. Mahomes finished the night with 203 yards on 18 of 30 passing with 1 passing touchdown. The Chiefs, led by Mahomes, defeated the New York Jets by a score of 23-20.
Jets quarterback Zach Wilson may have had one of the best games of his career so far this season, completing 28 passes of 39 passes for a total of 2 touchdowns, but that wasn't the only surprise in the stadium. As the rumors of girlfriend of tight end Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, was in the house. Interesting fact, according to NPR, the average ticket price skyrocketed up to 35% to a total of $380 in Friday before the game. With the new alleged budgeting romance, the NFL may continue to see an economic boost in fan attendance in the stadium.
It has been a tumultuous offseason for both the Philadelphia 76ers and star guard James Harden. The star guard finally reported for the 76ers training camp earlier this week, even though it was reported that Harden was demanding to be traded away. This comes after a summer full of drama between the star and the team. James Harden called Sixers president Daryl Morey a liar, end quote, and vowed not to be a part of an organization as long as Morey was a part of it. He was later fined $100,000 for those comments by the NBA. Harden has expressed his dismay with the Sixers for a while and requested a trade at the beginning of the summer. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported that Harden was going to make things, quote, uncomfortable, end quote, in order to facilitate a trade.
ESPN reports that James Harden was participating in, quote, virtually, end quote, the entire practice, in good shape and energy, as expressed by head coach Nick Nurse and teammate Tobias Harris. Harden and the Sixers appear to be moving forward together, but rumors still loom about Harden wanting to trade to the Los Angeles Clippers, amongst other contenders.
With a rise in popularity within the last couple of years, the WNBA is welcome another new team. The league announced that they have come to an agreement to award the 7-time NBA champions, the Golden State Warriors, a WNBA franchise. The Warriors will become the 6th NBA team with a WNBA franchise, joining the Phoenix Suns, Brooklyn Nets, Washington Wizards, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Indiana Pacers. This will also be the first time a new team has been added to the WNBA since 2008, when the Atlanta Dream was added to the league. And the new team in the Bay Area will make their debut in 2025.
When discussing the expansion, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert said, quote, "We are thrilled about expanding to the Bay Area and bringing the WNBA to a region with passionate basketball fans and a strong history of supporting women's basketball," end quote. In addition, the new franchise will play their home game in the same arena that the Warriors play, the Chase Center. The Warriors' former practice facility in Oakland will serve as the WNBA team's headquarters.
All right, stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming up right after the break.
I have a question about
Hello, and welcome back to our roundtable discussion. Okay, so for our first story, guys, we're going to talk about, it has been announced that there will be 6 countries hosting the 2028 World Cup. So the question that I have for you guys is, are we for or against the World Cup being hosted in different continents?
I think I'm against it, and the reason is I think FIFA is doing too much. We know that the upcoming World Cup is going to be hosted within 3 countries, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone's really excited about it. There's going to be more countries represented. They expanded the numbers. But I think what they're doing here is way too much. You're talking about 3 different continents, 3 different time zones, and not to include all the traveling that these athletes have to go through, right? Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a lot more jet lag on their legs, especially we don't know the weather conditions of each country. Each country is very different. Right. And not only that, but it takes away the glamour and the history and the tradition that one country gets to host this event, right? And it takes away from that one country being able to show their culture and have a spotlight that the entire world looks at for about a month.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's pros and cons of hosting the World Cup. We all know the benefit, the revenue, of course. However, it destroys small neighborhoods. You see in Qatar how 5,600 people died in the result of the stadiums being put up, and that's according to The Guardian. So yeah, I'm very against it because it has a lot of cons to the local towns.
Yeah, and you guys brought up really good points, because initially I thought it was cool, and like I didn't know much about it, so I thought like when I heard it was really interesting. But when you think about it, I mean, just looking at it, there were 1.5 billion viewers in that final World Cup game last year between Argentina and France. So I mean, it's the most popular sporting event in the world, and I feel like this will add to it. But if you take the other elements, like how much more like they are, I'm sure like they already have the stadium set up, but like he had mentioned, like it was really dangerous. So thousands of people died from it. It's like, it's very dangerous, and you think about the risks, like traveling to different continents, there's problems within countries across the world. It's like you're putting athletes at risk, things like that. So yeah, I definitely disagree with the decision.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Another factor in here is all of these six countries are they going to have the capability of resources like hotels, stadiums, etc.? Because I know Qatar was kind of small, and they had that 10 hotel village, and it wasn't good for the players and fans. So I'm wondering, are they going to have enough resources to provide everybody with comfortability? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm also against it. I think I did some research. There's been 22 World Cups in the history, and you look at like the most recent ones, they've all been very successful. Like you said, 1.5 billion viewers for the championship last year between Argentina and France, and it's like, do you really need to change that and make have such a drastic change? And I think that, like, a system that's worked so well, like you said, besides like the the living conditions of like Qatar last year, which was like reported a lot of deaths. Like having one country hosting or one continent it's worked like consistently. So I kind of think that they don't really need to do that. But I mean, it's like, more money, more revenue. So it's like going to happen. But I don't think it's something that's necessary.
And one final point about this is, what do the citizens of these countries think about it, right? These countries are spending billions of dollars to have high-tech facilities, high-tech stadiums, right? But then you look at the living conditions that these citizens are living in, and it's awful, So I'm really intrigued and interested to see what the citizens of these countries think.
All right, moving on to our next story, we have Simone Biles making her return to gymnastics and doing the Yurchenko double pike in the World Championships, which has never been done before. So the question is, what do we think about her return, remarkable return this past weekend to gymnastics?
I think it's an amazing story, right? Thinking about, it's been 10 years, right, since she's won her first major competition, that she really got the spotlight from the entire media. In this in this sport, for an athlete to be around for 10 years is really impressive. How many times do we see them perform in one Olympics, and then the next Olympics where they're right with they're with NBC, right? They're in the booth, right?
Yeah.
Because this sport is ruthless. Yeah, it just takes one split second and your career is done. The fact that she was at the top, she got the recognition. She had to go through the mental health issues. We understand that as an athlete, especially with the amount of pressure that she had to go through. But she took a step back, and now she's back to her full start that we know her to be. I'm excited to see her, perform next year in Paris.
Yeah, I agree. That was a fantastic performance by her. Obviously, she's going to compete in the 2024 Paris Olympics. But I don't know if you guys know this, but in 2021, she suffered an injury called twisties. And she did an interview with NBC Insider's Cindy Contreras. And she said, I had to step back because of the injuries. And I did a little bit of research on what are twisties, because I'm like, what are they? So they are a sudden inability for a gymnast to make the correct spins for a particular movement. So now she's coming back off the injuries, no more twisties, and now she's performing at a certain level where she's expected to perform that. So really phenomenal by her part.
Yeah, it's really just amazing because I know you brought up this is her third Olympics now.
I believe so.
Yeah, and it's you don't see you think of athletes that do that like Michael Phelps and Allison Felix, all these athletes that became very few have ever been able to make it to at least their third Olympics, and those are just a few notable athletes that are known across the world. And it's just what she's been able to do. It's it feels weird to me that it's been 10 years to me because we've kind of just grown up watching her now, and it's it only just adds to her legacy. I feel it's just probably one of the greatest gymnasts ever simply to ever do it.
Yeah, when you look at someone who she has 4 Olympic gold medals, 20 World Championship gold medals, 20 is just insane. But
yeah.
I think it's just also, like you said, gymnastics is not and 26 by no means is old, but in the world of gymnastics, 26 is kind of up there. And the fact that she's back and she's winning golds at the World Championship after not competing on a big stage since 2020 is absolutely crazy. And how crazy would it be if she were to go to the Olympics next year and do the same thing? So looking forward to seeing that. And transitioning to the football field for our third question, we talked about Zach Wilson and his game he had against the Chiefs this past weekend. Before this game, it seemed that a lot of people were against Zach Wilson, but after the game, a lot of opinions changed. So the question is, what did Zach Wilson show us with his Sunday Night Football performance, and how could that affect the Jets going forward this season?
Go ahead.
I believe that he showed tremendous confidence in himself. Yes, Wilson's team chemistry improved drastically because of his smart, consistent clutch plays that he made during Sunday Night Football. But I think it helped his confidence big time going forward throughout this season. And having Rodgers back on the sideline really helps him on the headset. made them relax, calm, etc. And another point is it's going to take the ease off of the Jets organization and the passionate Jet fan base to actually take a step back and actually trust Wilson going forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think first things first, he keeps his job for another week,
Yes.
right? I have not
That's a good
seen
point.
the media attack a player like they've attacked him, right? And we were all part of it too, right? None of us thought that he was going to be able to make it out.
Right.
And what I learned from this game, from his performance, was when the spotlight was on him, when the entire country, Taylor Swift was at the game. They're going against the defending Super Bowl champs.
Right.
The spotlight is on you, and I believe the game was in New York City, correct?
Yes.
Right. It showed me that this guy can stay in the NFL. He can stay another week, right? And like you said, the Jets have no other option, but they're gonna have to stick with him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because there is no other person to get. And for me, it just showed him that when the pressure hit him the most, he performed. Yes, they didn't get the W, but it showed enough positive impact for the team to have a bright future, at least to see another week.
What this really showed is a lot of his maturity and his recognition for like his own, like you saw the clip of him like saying like that's on me, like on the sideline, and like the whole team was surrounding him. And they also showed the clip from last season when he only put up 3 points, and they were asking him like, do you feel like you put your team's defense down? And he's like, no. Basically with his ego and being immature. And then like you saw the way he handled the press conference last week after that game, or just this past Sunday, and he like was very mature about it and was really looking forward to like the next few weeks. And like they are playing the Broncos this week, which is a very winnable game. And if he puts up the same performance, like he went 28 for 39 with 245 yards, which may not, for like your star quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, like that's not an insane stat line, but for somebody like him who's really been struggling, like for his season now, he's at 712 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. When we were talking about him last, it was 2 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And his quarterback rating, it's still, it's 38.9. That's still bad, but it went from 33rd to 27th. So in just 1 week, he's simply gone up that much. And it's like the team has all the young talent around him. He's got targets. He's got the team. Like he brought, like Aaron Rodgers being there brought a lot of good players with them, and now he has more weapons to work with. And I really, I'm excited to see where they can go. It's only 1 week in the NFL. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how, this dude is done.
Right.
Why is he even in the league? And now we're like, is he going to be able to lead his team now? So it's just interesting how the narrative flips so much in the NFL on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like last week you were hearing reports that the Jets are going at each other in the locker room and that things are bad. And I think it takes this kind of a game for a team, for a quarterback to show taking that accountability, that was on me, even though it may not have been. That accountability can that's what it takes for them to really rally around this quarterback and really want to fight for him. Because as a leader, your team has to want to fight for you and go out there and win for you. So I think Zach Wilson earned that this weekend. And another stat is that he was the only quarterback in Patrick Mahomes' career to have more yards, touchdowns, and less interceptions than him in one game, which he really did outplay Mahomes. It's just the Chiefs got off to a quick start, and so the Jets couldn't come back from that. But outplaying Mahomes on the biggest stage, Taylor Swift, there, the world is watching.
Right.
That was a big thing for Zach Wilson. And so, like you said, this week will be a big bounce back because the Broncos, right? You should get that win if Zach Wilson's playing well. So hopefully they'll be able to bounce back this week and work some of that confidence back up. But now moving on to the NBA. The question, we talked about the 76ers and James Harden. So our question is, will the 76ers still trade Harden? And if so, where do you think they'll end up trading him to?
I think the Clippers, obviously. It's a win-win situation. But you see Harden's previous teams that he's been traded to, and his ego will play a factor in it.
Yeah, I look at the situation, and James Harden, he's been bouncing from team to team for the past couple of years now, and he can't seem to find a home, right? And we know he made the comments against management, but I just don't see anywhere else but the Clippers. But the Clippers do have a Russell Westbrook already. They seem to be content with what they have. But I don't see many teams fighting for him even though he is still NBA talent, he's still all-star talent. I just don't see him going anywhere like a Miami. I can't see Pat Riley in that organization going after him after his history.
Yeah, and it's hard to say where he's going to go because, with Dame, we were all shocked about that. But, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out, honestly, just because we know James Harden's ego is going to get in the way of a lot of things.
Right.
All right, Titans, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Colin Costigan.
It's been a pleasure. I'm Francisco Molina.
Thank you for watching. I'm Noah Segovia.
And I'm Justin Rosette. Make sure to give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports.